Hi, my name is Carla de Guzman. I'm a romance writer from the Philippines. And did you know that I actually did watercolor? At some point I thought I would make a career out of this watercolor thing, but for no particular reason other than because I am saving the book video that I wanted to do for the end of the month. I thought I would talk about, my watercolor stuff, what I'm using, take you on a little tour of my sketchpad, and yeah. Wala lang. So yeah. I'm using a Moleskine watercolor journal. This is my second one. And I keep telling myself that I don't like it, but this is my second one, so I must like it. The paper has this weird plastic waxy thing on top that makes it kind of difficult to put in your first wash of watercolor. If you already have one of these, I mean, it's pretty good. It's my second one, obviously. But, there's some downfalls to it. But it's pretty handy. So, pros and cons. For my brushes, I gravitate a lot towards two. I mainly use 2 or 3 brushes when I paint, so it's usually these brushes. So this is an Escoda Prado. If I could only paint with one brush, I would probably use this one. For the finest, tiniest details, I use this. I think it's a size 0 or a size 2. It's just the regular National Bookstore brand. National Bookstore has, pretty decent brushes for really cheap. So, and if you're just starting out, I would recommend getting the ones that look like this, or the ones that have the pink handle and the silver barrel. So those are pretty good too. For paint, I have too many paint sets. It's a sickness. Like, I have a lot. This is a Paul Rubens paint set that was empty when I got it. I just filled it up with half pans that I already had, and it's arranged in a way that I borrowed from Anna Mason. So Anna Mason is a botanical watercolorer. She's one of the best, and in her book she recommends this order for your paints. So the ones that are squeezed, like this Hooker's green, I believe this is, oh my god, I cannot tell my blues apart. So these are blue and blue, and this purple, as well as this shell pink and this opera pink. They're all Shinhan watercolors. Shinhan is a Korean brand, I think. It's not too cheap. It's a reasonably priced tube. And I just squeezed that out. And then the rest of these some of these are Winsor & Newton. I got a huge Winsor & Newton set when I was in London for, I think, 1,000 pesos. So this one, this one, this one, this one. I think some of these also are Winsor & Newton. And this one is a Daniel Smith in Moonglow. I never use it, but I saw someone use it on a painting. It was just so beautiful, but the paint itself is pretty expensive, so I'm kind of saving it. I don't know why. And a couple of these are actually from local brands. So this huge full pan of green is Lumat Green from Pinta.ph, and I love this green. I use it a lot for leaves. When I paint leaves, I usually use Lumat Green. And this specific blue is from Life After Breakfast. When I'm looking for a blue that isn't as dark as Payne's Gray, I usually use Pacific Blue. What else? So if you notice also in my set, I have 2 lemon yellows. This lemon yellow I use when I generally need to paint something lemon yellow. And this yellow, if you can tell, it's already pretty green, because this is the mixing yellow that I use to when I need to paint a yellowish part in a leaf. I would mix this one with some of the greens here. It's also recommended by Anna Mason. So she also actually recommends that you carry around a tube of gouache, but I am too lazy to do that. So what I did was I cheated and I got this Uniball Signo pen in white. So when I need to paint, when I need to put like highlight details on top of watercolor, I just use this white pen. It works pretty fine. Now, in the short couple of years that I've been watercolor painting, I have found that using a metal palette to mix your colors is like the worst. I hate it because the paint just doesn't stick to the metal like the way I like it. So I always end up bringing this out. This is a little six well palette, also by Life After Breakfast. It's handmade, ceramic handmade. but it just holds the watercolor in the right way for me. It makes it easier to kind of make a blend of pigment and water. So I really like using this one, and I don't really use a lot of colors when I paint. 6 is kind of a lot depending on what I'm doing, but usually I end up bringing this out when I'm at home. So you've heard me talk all about the boring stuff. Let me just take you to the juicy part, which is this little sketchbook tour. I don't know if you can see it, but this is a white magnolia, also from Sydney. I am kind of obsessed with magnolias. I love them. I love painting them, even if they're kind of a bitch to paint because of course it's white and I'm using white paper. But yeah, I like how this one turned out. I painted this in the afternoon. My brother and I were hanging out in the Airbnb, and this is the effect of Bundaberg pomegranate juice and chips. This scene I painted from a photo that I took on my phone. If I remember right, we were driving from Lipa to Lobo to go to the beach, and we stopped here for some reason, and I took a photo, and I thought it would be a nice challenge to paint something a river for the first time, and something that goes kind of deep, that has some depth to it, because at the time I was still practicing painting depth and perspective. I still suck at it, but yeah. So this is when I actually thought I was getting a hang of how much paint to put on my sketchbook. These are scenes from, well, this is a windowsill from Spain, and I took a photo of it on my camera and I just decided to paint it. And this one I believe is from Cinque Terre. I have no idea what this is. It's probably someone's house or a restaurant, but look at how pretty like that canopy thing is with the green and with the yellow. The colors in Cinque Terre are amazing, like cannot be beaten. Well, no, the colors of Italy itself are so beautiful. It's like it's the perfect shade, like the perfect shade from this Taylor tape set. It's exactly the same. This little corner of Italy is forever etched in my brain and in my memory because number one, I took a photo of it. Number two, this is the side of the street where I was walking with my family and I was practically screaming into my cell phone because I had lost, someone had stolen my wallet while we were in Trevi Fountain, and I had to call the bank to tell them to cut my card right away. And the first thing that the person asked me was, well, what's the card number? Like, girl, I don't know the card number. I literally lost the card. What do you want me to do? So yeah, so I was like somewhere in the scene in a corner telling the lady to, can you just please retrieve my records because I'm sure you have my record. Anyway, okay, this is a scene from Bali. This is Lempuyang Temple. I've talked about it in my Bali video if you haven't seen it there. So these are the stairways leading to heaven. There's actually still another temple here, but I didn't bother to paint it. Again, the paint here is very muddled. I hate it so much. And the red isn't as bright as I want it to be. It should be brighter, but nothing you can do when the paper is starting to curl. If you've seen everyone's Instagram photo of Dumbo in Brooklyn, so this is it. Again, this is based on a photo, and my perspective work is really bad. So what I had to do with this one, I put the photo in my iPad, and then I just took the page and I put it on top of the iPad, and then I just kind of lightly sketched the shapes so I can get the correct perspective. Because like I said, I sucked at it. And I remember painting this while watching Jane the Virgin. So is anyone else Team Raphael? Because I am. Don't fight me. I think that's it. This is still an author booktube. This is still a booktube, I think. So yeah, that's it from me. I hope you like this video. If you're interested in what I posted and you want to see more, you can subscribe to my channel. I also post videos every Wednesday, or I try to post videos every Wednesday. So if you're into that, make sure you subscribe. And yeah, I will see you next week. Bye.